Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome along to PSGL. We are here this evening for what should be an absolutely fascinating fourth round of the PlayStation F3 Championship. Joining alongside me for this evening is, of course, Brendan. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you. We are going to get ready for another race here in PSGL F3 around Austria. Shortest lap times on the calendar, so lots of opportunities for you to, well, get the laps in, but if you get a corner wrong, it's a little more costly than you know. There will be in other tracks where there's more corners for you to try and make it up on.
Well, as you can see on your screen now, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to run you through the drivers' standings. We'll take a look at the Red Bull Ring in a brief moment's time, but in terms of the PSF3 drivers' standings ahead of this evening, it is NL Keke who leads for Williams Racing. He leads by 3 points over our Street Chat's favourite man. It is Anryu in second position. Tyne in third, followed by Mubarak. In fourth, it is then Ralkio, LRB, Damiano, Zane, Simon, and Jusbrand. Rounds out the top 10. Still a very close championship here. We've had 3 different winners in 3 races so far this season. Now let's take a look then, shall we, at what these drivers are facing this evening. It is the Red Bull Ring here in Austria, formerly of course the A1 Ring, and the Austrian Grand Prix debuted in 1963 at another former track, Zeltweg Airfield, but that didn't achieve World Championship status until 1964, and then Lorenzo Bandini won for Ferrari in 1964. But the Red Bull Ring here is 4.318 kilometres, 2.683 miles and 10 corners. It is one of many tracks designed by the famous Hermann Tilke. Very short pit lane loss, only about 16.1 seconds. In Formula 1, obviously it'll be a little bit different here on the game because, well, the pit times fluctuate a little bit. But in terms of Austrian Formula 1 heritage, Niki Lauda, the only Austrian driver to win, he won the 1984 Austrian Grand Prix en route to his 3rd World Championship. So it's certainly a track that is rooted in a steep amount of history.
Yeah, a lot of history around here, Austria. And I have to say, if there's any more history written into the books here for PSGL F3, for this season, anyways, we've had a nice balanced season with 3 winners, 3 races, as I said before. As the championship, plus another 3 points between Keke and Anview, then another 6 points to time. So, no one's really had 3 flawless races, really. Because, well, even Keke, he only picked up about 6 points there in the opening round, so it goes to show that, well, we could have a complete different order to the ones we had in the previous 3 races today, even that could be the same case, completely different next week as Bajan or China in 2 weeks' time. So,
yeah, of course, as we look at the calendar, we can take a brief look at it. We've, of course, ran Spain, Singapore, France. We're here in Austria for the 4th round. Then we do head to Azerbaijan, which is bound to be a messy one. China, Mexico, Brazil, Hungary, China, Mexico, Bahrain, Hungary, Brazil. And then we round off the season at Portugal, which is a very weird track to round off a season at. But look, we won't question the calendar makers, but nevertheless, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to head live now to the Red Bull Ring to get this evening's qualifying action underway. 17 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock, and there is a couple of cars coming out in the pit lane. We can see Ralkio coming out in his Scuderia Ferrari. There's a couple of Aston Martins coming out as well, and qualifying is well and truly underway here in Austria. There's a bit of smoke surrounding the Ferrari of Ralkio. That's slightly peculiar, but there definitely seems to be a bit of dust coming out of his car, and seems to be okay now. That was definitely not weird at all.
I don't know, maybe Ferrari trying something just to see aerodynamics in real life. It would be the most Ferrari invention of all time, but
Yeah, it would. It's not something that would surprise me if the Scuderia team did come up with a weird concept like that. Speaking of the Scuderia Ferrari team, they had another Ferrari Masterclass here in 2002, and it gained them a $1 million fine for team orders. Of course, you may remember it. Michael Schumacher overtaking Rubens Barrichello? Yeah, it was Rubens Barrichello, wasn't it? Or was it?
Yeah, it was Rubens Barrichello.
Don't know why I thought it was Ralph Schumacher, but Ralph Schumacher I don't think ever drove for Ferrari, and it certainly wasn't Eddie Irvine, because he wouldn't have listened to team orders. So it was Rubens Barrichello. But qualifying getting underway, then one more thing to point out is Anryu is simply just Anryu now. He's not running the VI or Anryu anymore, so it's a new PSN for the Alfa Romeos, but Ralchio gets on his qualifying run. 16 minutes to go in the session. We're just at the very start if you're just joining us here for some more PSGL F3 action.
Yeah, so Andrew's in the pit lane, mind you, was just trying to keep an eye on those who are out there early, and they may well think, I can get 4 runs in here, especially if I have like 4 sets of softs, which I'm willing to use all of them up to get the qualifying position. Which would be a gamble, however, that is usually actually Andrew's having a medium, so he feels like these might be the tires to just get banker running along.
Yeah, it seems like Anryu is just going to go for a bit of a banker run, and that is something that we kind of see around different tracks. Let's see what Ralchio can set then, as the first lap of the day goes to Team S1 Mubarak, who took his first PSGL F3 win of the season in Paul Ricard last time out. 2 weeks ago, of course, we did the break week. Ralchio goes with a 104.306, that's 0.014 off pole position. Sancho goes into 4th just behind his teammate Lewis. It's going to be an AlphaTauri of Hav across the line next, and then the other AlphaTauri of Fede is coming right behind. Fede goes to 3rd, Hav goes to 5th. Mercedes of Damiano across the line, that is just starting a run, and the Red Bull Racing Man of Baki is going to go to 7th position. It's going to be LRB, the sole McLaren for this evening. He's the only one team driver, and he's going to go to 4th position, so still not doing too shabby at all. It's going to be Shizu Zane across the line next. That is also just starting a run, and we're going to see Dirk heading around the final couple of corners now. He's heading in to the final corner, the Red Bull Mobile curve, and then accelerating towards the line. There's not been too shabby a run from Dirk. He'll be good enough to beat LRB's time, and that puts him in 4th place. Next is Tyne across the line, but that's not really representative time unless he was on the intermediates, but he goes about 13 seconds off the pace, and that lap will definitely be beaten. Here comes Keke to the line, then he's actually invalidated, so there's not going to be a valid time for Keke, and that kind of rounds out the first runs here in qualifying. Still yet to see a time from Damiano, Ghost Kings, Keke, Anryu, Sipala, Izza, Royal, Harvey and Zane. Here comes Damiano. Nope, he's also invalidated, so there won't be a time in for Damiano either, and there's actually a little bit of a blockage in the Haas pit box. There's an improvement for someone up the order. That's Baki, who's gone to 7th position. He was 3 seconds off. He's improved now to 7th, and he's now 0.3 of a second off, so a slight improvement for him. Here comes Anryu rounding through the Rinth corner and the Red Bull Mobile curve. This is on the medium, seems to be a real taste of what Anryu's pace is like this evening. And you know what, a 0.6 of a second off pole is not too bad at all. So maybe Anryu's medium times are fairly competitive, but that's beaten a few people, mind you. Then Tyne goes to 5th, so the 2 Red Bulls now have proper runs on the board in their home circuit, and Tyne sets a purple sector 3.
Well, that would bode well if you can get a purple somewhere, probably, and then you're 5th. You think, alright, I can improve somewhere here in Austria. Well, there are not that many turns. You can definitely improve on set turns. And, well, you just don't know. The times here can fall down a bit. Just getting the right exits, particularly in Austria, just picking where you need to place the car is so important, because the curbs don't really allow for maybe a slightly off car placement.
Yeah, it's a track that can provide battling, but as you say, Brendan, the curbs are a little bit... how can we put this? They're a little bit different around this circuit. They can chuck a car off and, well, maybe even put it in the wall, and certainly it is a track that's provided some drama in PSGL throughout the years. It's not so much here on the PlayStation platform, because we're just more laid-back kind of people, as Ghost Kings goes to 8th position, but certainly Mr. Otmir and Danny Moreno had their moments up the top of the hill at Remus, turn 3, and then, of course, there was a very expensive headset that ended up on the floor to Otmir's left-hand side, so we hope there's no repeat of that. Well, now that I say that, that was quite an exciting race, so maybe something similar to that would be quite enjoyable. But nevertheless, Lewis 7th now for Haas. Mubarak still on top by 0.014 to Ralkio. Two very competitive guys who are still well in the hunt for this Drivers' Championship.
Yep, this Drivers' Championship, even if you're just a bit down the order, you probably aren't that far away from being involved. If you can just put together maybe even now a consistent enough run, you might find yourself in that fight, even if you might feel, I haven't really done that much to be in it. You might just guess you have just simply been there, collected the points each and every time, and if you do that, then who knows where you can end up. We'll have to see now. Some of these drivers, they're going to be on second runs now, and you could possibly even see them on third runs soon enough, for all we know.
Yeah, it's a quick qualifying, and I know that sounds like a terrible statement, but in terms of everything just happens at a really quick pace, it's a very quick turnaround. Sipala would like to go a little bit quicker though. He goes to 9th position, 0.333 of pole position. Next drivers starting their runs, we can see Have setting on his merry way. Sanchez improves to 8th for Haas Formula 1. That's a 0.5 of a second improvement for him, so decent job there. Dirk gets on his way as well, as does Ralkio. The McLaren of LRB has just come into the pit lane, so he's not going to bring his run to completion, and neither is Fede. Got to save some tyres. And Ryu sets off on his run as well, and so does Zane, or Zane actually completing a lap. Might well be. No, he's starting a run. Zane not got a time on the board yet, would like to do so fairly quickly. He does have a time on the board now, it's a 1:17.6, so I suppose does technically have a time on the board. Here comes Marcus then. He's heading round the Red Bull Mobile curve, currently on a 3:21 for Marcus, so he's going to definitely try and improve on that one. What about Damiano? Is he starting a run or is he completing it? He is completing a lap here, is Damiano, so he's going to get a lap on the board. He invalidated his first. What's his second attempt like? It's going to be enough for 8th position. 1:04.537 for Damiano. He'd like to improve on that one. That's certainly not a pole time, but it is a lap on the board. And that's the ultimate goal of that run. Let's take a look at Ralkio then. He is into the pit lane, so Ralkio not able to get a second time in. Backy heading through the Red Bull Mobile curve. He's going to get a second run on the board. Where's this going to put him? It is... No, it's starting a run as well. That graphic is so annoying. What about Dirk then? He's heading around the final couple of corners. And Ryu dives into the pit lane. Dirk is going to head across the line and stay in 4th. Scuderia Ferrari of Zane is going to be the next one across the line. He does head through the Red Bull Mobile curve, not invalid. It is going to be a proper time, and it's going to actually keep him in 14th. So no real improvement there for Zane. Disappointing. He stays in 14th position. It's an Alpine of Marcus who has invalidated, and then Izza heading through the Red Bull Mobile curve now to start a run. So now we're kind of getting the second run of the day underway, and it seems like a lot of these drivers are going to stick to 3 runs in qualifying and not try attempt that 4th. Let's take a look at Keke then. He's gone 16th flat in the first sector. That's very competitive. Similar times to PSF1 with some of those drivers. Similar times to maybe even some PC drivers like the likes of TF Legend and of course TF Rudy set very similar times. 44.8 in the middle sector for Keke. It's a good time so far if he can keep it valid.
Indeed, it would be a good time if you can just keep it there. That's just something to keep his thing. Well, he has done it, so let's see what it is.
It's going to be good. That's going to be 5th for Keke. I actually thought it might be slightly better, but he goes to 5th. Nevertheless, as Ralkio is on another outlap, Zane comes into the pit lane, and there's going to be a Red Bull of Tyne heading through the Red Bull Mobile curve. Is this an improvement for Tyne? No, he was way down in the middle sector, so it's another 1:13 lap. Alpine across the line next, that's Marcus. He improves to 16th position, and there's an AlphaTauri of Fede across the line. There's a car actually round at the final corner. That is Izza, who's gone round at the final corner on the racing circuit. You can see the Mercedes just around there. There is a Haas beginning a lap as well, and LRB. Is this lap being brought to completion? No, LRB starting a run, but I think he's been a little bit impeded at the start of his lap by that Mercedes. Mubarak heading through the final corner to start his run, but his teammate Ghost Kings is coming across the line now. Ghost Kings stays 11th, and there's a Red Bull behind him again. That is actually the Red Bull of Backy, not Tyne. Backy heads across the line. Again, no improvements. Ralkio starting his run. Have across the line as well. Lots of times being started Anryu about to come across the line as well. We still don't have the Anryu fan club in the chat this evening, which is slightly disappointing because Anryu, I'm sure, could do with the extra motivation. But let's take a look at Ralkio. 16 flat. It's identical to what he did on his first attempt.
I suppose. Well, that's tying actually up to the top of the timing sheets. So, good job from the Red Bull man, who opened the season with 2 P2s. However, last time out, he went to score 6 points. So, he'd be looking to just get back to front and just, well, just prove that last week was maybe a bit of an outlier, I suppose, being somewhat a norm.
I spoke too soon about the Anryu fan club. They have definitely arrived. Here comes Ralkio rounding the final corner. The Red Bull Mobile curve. Ferrari, of course, winning this Grand Prix in 2022. And Ralkio goes on to pole position by a very close margin. Let's see what Mubarak can do in the first sector. Actually, his battery's completely drained. This isn't going to be that impressive. There goes the German to fourth. Anryu back up to his good form. And, of course, won the opener. Not really had the best luck since France was not really a great race for Anryu, but he's back up to fourth here in Austria. Fourth and fifth for Alfa Romeo, decent so far. Red Bull across the line. Actually, no apologies, that's tying into the pit lane and is Fede. So, we're starting to get into the final laps of the day. Is Mubarak still pushing? It certainly looks like he is, but his battery is drained. No, Mubarak is not pushing. He is 3 seconds down, unfortunately for him. What about the two Haas's? Is Sanchez and Lewis on a lap? Sanchez is not. Damiano is. What about Lewis? No, he's into the pit lane. Let's stick with Damiano then. Because if he can just get a very marginal improvement... No, he's actually validated, so no improvement here for Damiano. What lap did he set anyways? He improved by 1:41, and if he can find that improvement in his actual lap, that will put him... Coming up the order actually, very close in that mid-pack, from 4th to about 13th, I suppose you could say. He's separated by only about 0.3 of a second, a bit over 0.3 of a second, so those guys are going to be fighting for every inch of circuit.
Yeah, well, there's not much really there to be when it comes to race. When you actually have to physically fight for it, it's not going to be much room for you, as you already said. You have to be very, very careful. And that's why in Austria we've seen in real life a lot of incidents happen in races. In the races here, like usually at turn 4 or even towards the two left-handers in the last two left-handers in sector 2, where we've seen people just get pushed off or just make contact and spin each other.
Well, 3 minutes and 15 seconds to go here in qualifying for the PSGL F3 Austrian Grand Prix. If you're enjoying the qualifying action so far, make sure to like the stream, hit that subscription button, and support the channel here, because of course we want this F3 Championship to get the best coverage possible. We do hope we are providing it. This is going to be an interesting one then, to end the day, because it's very close between Ralkio, Tyne and Mubarak. They're the 3 heavy hitters, I'd say, here. And there is some dark clouds forming. Wonder if we'll get some droplets of rain. Can't imagine we will, as we've such a short amount of time left in the session. And Tyne now heading through Rindt corner to start his lap at Red Bull's home. Red Bull, of course, the energy drink, originated in Austria, so the team race under an Austrian racing licence. In towards turn number 1, this is the newly, or it's not really new at this point, Niki Lauda curve, and Tyne with a little bit of car control. That would be very Niki Lauda-esque. Heading up the hill, you can see the red light flashing actually on the back of the Red Bull as he heads up, and he's 0.5 of a second down. I imagine he's just going to back off here. There's no point continuing this lap. He can have another go. I think he has backed off. He definitely has enough time for another go, and I have to say, that's a very impressive run from Marcus. He goes to third position. He's been nowhere really in this session but the Alpine, producing the goods in the dying embers. Let's see what Mubarak can do in the first sector as he heads up the hill. Chicane, of course, here at this point of the track for MotoGP bikes, but not for us Formula 1 cars. We just clear through that section. Mubarak down in the first sector, but it's not by a lot. What about Ralchio? How is he getting on? Heading up through the first sector split, Ralchio improves. He's the first man in the 15s in that sector. It's a 15-9 for Ralchio. Tyne has definitely backed off. He's going to have another bite of the cherry. So has Mubarak. Mubarak down as well. Does Mubarak have time to get another lap in? I imagine he does, because it's such a short run around here. If you started before really the 1:10 mark, yeah, he can definitely get another run in. But will it be good enough? Because Ralchio is heading through turn number 6 of Orange and in towards... Oh no! And he's not going to head in towards turn number 7 because Ralchio has spun it. The three self-acclaimed heavy hitters all making mistakes here in qualifying. Maybe a sneaky German could get in there. Anryu, is he improving? No, he's only about to start a run, so we're still now just getting into the proper times. Iza has finally improved to go to 7th. Baki has retired from the session. That's actually in the pit lane, I believe, so Baki not getting a proper run in. Fede, 16 flat. Keep an eye on Fede. He has had a big first sector. He's going to head in towards turn number 6 of Orange now. We'll keep an eye on the AlphaTauri, of course, the sister team of Red Bull Racing, the home heroes here. They don't like to say they're the sister team, but they are. That's a purple middle sector for Fede. He is, though, a tenth of a second improving. Needs a bit more than that, but can he find it potentially? Heading through Rind corner of turn number 9 and in towards the Red Bull Mobile curve of turn number 10. Just aims for that yellow curve down the inside. That's been a decent run from Fede. Is this good enough to reach the top? It's good enough for the second row, and he goes to third position. Tyne has not been able to successfully start another lap. Neither has Ralchio. What about Mubarak? Mubarak is improving in the middle sector. Maybe Mubarak can take it right at the death. Heading in towards the final couple of corners. This needs to be absolutely flat from Mubarak. He needs to push through this final corner like his life depends on it. Here comes Mubarak across the line. Is it pole for the Aston Martin? Oh, look at that! It just about is! 0.001! Mubarak steals pole position here at the death. What about Anryu? He's invalid. Dirk is backed off his lap as well. Looks like that's one of the Red Bulls pushing. That is Tyne who is pushing, but he's way down. Keke, championship leader, can only improve to 6th position. What about Lewis and Damiano? Lewis will improve to 7th. What about Damiano? He heads around the final corner. Can he improve up the top of the order? He'll go into the top 10. It's not a bad end to the day. But just take a look at that and let your eyes gaze upon that gap. 0.001 separates Mubarak and Ralchio here in qualifying for the Austrian Grand Prix.
Yes. Well, you can't really get much closer than that, can you? Or, well, if you could, we would have to be getting another number there at the end of that and go to the 4th digit, so who knows? That might be needed at some point this season. Oh, you know.
That is unbelievably close, however. And even the top 3 separated by 0.011. This should be a very exciting race, as we are just waiting for Damiano to enter the pit lane, and then we will head to commercials. But we'll run you through the qualifying results first, of course. Wow, I can't believe how close that one ended up. I knew Ralchio and Mubarak were very close. Mubarak pulled that one out of the bag in the final sector. That final sector was unbelievable because he wasn't improving by nearly enough in the middle. So certainly he had pace through in corner and Red Bull Mobile curve to take pole position here in PSGL. Can he convert it into a win though? That's what Mubarak has kind of struggled with a little bit this season. He wants to convert these results into race victories. But the Swissman takes pole position here in Austria. It is then Ralchio in 2nd, Tyne in 3rd, followed by Fede in 4th. Then it is Marcus, Keke, Lewis, Anryu, Dirk, Damiano, Iza, Ghost Kings, Baki, LRB. We'll just have a little scroll down. It is then Sanchez, Sapala, Hav, Zane, Royal Harvey not getting a time in at the end of the session. Folks, we'll be back after a short commercial break. The hills are alive with the sound of hybrid engines. We are here in the Styrian Hills here in Austria for the PSGL F3 Austrian Grand Prix. The Red Bull Ring and A1 Ring, of course, it was formerly called the A1 Ring, hosting 7 Formula 1 races between 1997 and 2003. It's the quickest lap time in Formula 1, however, it's the 4th shortest lap distance behind Monaco, Mexico and Brazil. And Max Verstappen and Alain Prost are both equalled on 3 Austrian Grand Prix wins, and Verstappen, of course, technically has more. He won the 2021 Styrian Grand Prix around here, but it was not the Austrian Grand Prix. McLaren being the most successful team. We're going to head back to the on-track action then here in Austria, Brendan, and as quick as you can, who's going to win it?
Well, you can't really put anything between the top two, can you? However, I would...
A piece of cheese, maybe.
Maybe a pin needle. That might just do it.
Maybe, but with 5 seconds to go, and here in Austria, we're going to go straight into racing action. No formation lap, of course, still here in PSGL. 2, 3, 4, 5, red lights. And we go racing here in Austria. The better start has come from the Ferrari on the inside, heading in towards turn number 1, but no, Mubarak gets up the second gear much better. Fede up the inside of Marcus, and Fede goes round, heading through turn number 1. There's a Williams round as well. It's the championship leader of Keke who's gone round. Contact between the two. Ralchio piling on the pressure up the hill here. He's on the mediums, whereas Mubarak on the hard compound tyres. Ralchio trying to fish it round the outside. He's trying the up and under here, heading down towards turn number 5, or turn number 4, apologies. The Schloss goal. Ralchio's got the run. Back, he's picked up a 5-second time penalty. Side by side here in the opening lap. Ralchio trying to dive it down the inside of the Swissman. The Irishman is true and leads here in Austria. Apologies, in France. That was last week where Ralchio did lead for a bit, but he's got into the lead much quicker here. Down the back of the pack, Royal Harvey gaining some spots. Sepala and Ghost King side by side. Ghost King's trying to dive it down the inside. You can see little bit of argy-bargy here in the mid-pack. There's cars side by side everywhere. Ghost Kings and Sepala. Zayn and Hav, as there's someone gone round. That's the Mercedes of Izza who has gone round and resets the track, I believe. So if someone does report that, there may be a penalty. Ghost Kings diving to the inside as Ghost Kings into the pit lane. Oh, he is, but due to front wing damage, he's really made a mess of that and may potentially be reported for crossing that white line. You're not allowed to cross it, of course, and he certainly has, but I think there was understandable reason why he has. Your biggest gainer on the opening lap was this man, Royal Harvey, who is up 9. We'll now take a look at the tyres. As you can see, only 2 men going for it, and those are Ralchio and Royal Harvey. Here comes Sanchez, though. He doesn't care what tyres the car in front is on. He's going to attack him nevertheless, and Hassman looking for the move in towards turn 3 of Remus, but it is a no-go. Ralchio leads here on the second lap.
Yeah, good start from Ralchio. He's got the job done. If he can pull away that second, which just looks like he was due for just a brief moment there. Well, he might just have done it. Because if you can pull away, that means that you can really make that race your own, even if the hard tires do come into their own in a couple of laps or so.
Well, Ralchio's pulled out of DRS. He has a 1.2 second gap. He's trying a very different strategy to what we're used to in league racing. Hav and Ghost Kings, who both came in the pit lane. Hav has gone for the mediums, Ghost Kings going for the hard tyres. So I can only imagine Ghost Kings did start in the mediums, which is fairly unlucky because he would have been flying up the order. Down here in the mid-pack, it looks like Baki and Sancho are doing all the attacking, and Sepala as well, the finishman. And a bit of a better start than his teammate Keke, but they're both down the order in the non-points paying positions, which is not really what you want here around a track like Austria, where something could go wrong at the front. You can pick up some extra points, but if you're not in the position to capitalise on that, you won't pick up those extra points. As Ralchio is absolutely flying at the front of this, but I think that's what we can expect from a man on the mediums. We can make sure to keep an eye on Amryu as well when we go on the mediums, because his medium lap was quite impressive in qualifying when he went on it, so he definitely has some medium pace, and we definitely expect him to be up there. But Sancho is still putting on the pressure on Royal Harvey for the final points paying positions. Harvey didn't have the pace in qualifying, seems to have better pace here in the race, as Hav is just gonna get out of the pits in time, as he was almost running the risk of going a lap down. Apologies for that notification. Coming up on your screen, that is called the joys of the capture card.
It's interesting to see here. Well, Monaco continuing to pull away. So that's actually a Ferrari around that zing. So one Ferrari out front and a Ferrari. Well,
oh, 3 wide here up the hill, and that's going to be Backy up the inside of Sanchez. Royal Harvey's got the up and under on them both. And are we still 3 wide? No, we're just about 2, but Backy's still looking. Now he's gone 3 wide here, heading in toward the Schloss goal. Oh, there's a bit of argy-bargy between the two, and Royal Harvey and Backy still side by side, and Sanchez gets out of shape and pushes Sipala on the grass. And oh, Sipala in the wall. There's contact between the Williams, and that is Sipala in the wall with the safety car.
Yeah, immediate safety car for that, and that contact was very inevitable because, well, I think Sipala, he tried to take advantage, and just the result of it.
Well, Williams have had a horror show of a start here, and they've pretty much swapped positions because it's now Sipala the one who's going to have to deal with the damages, as lots of people into the pit lane. Dirk, Royal Harvey, Keke, Sanchez, Izza, Sipala, all in the pits. As is that a double stack actually for Alpine? No, it's a double stack for Williams, both needing wing changes. So we may see Izza pick up a cheeky position, as that's an interesting one. Sanchez gone for the softs here.
The softs, that is a peculiar call. Or maybe he's thinking a goal call might be the way to move up through the pack and then pace back down to a normal strategy compared with everyone else. So sometimes you have to think, oh no, for that's just to get yourself back into a position that feels normal.
Yeah, he's really thinking outside the box there. That is an interesting one. He really is thinking outside the box. Whether it's going to work or not, I'm not sure. And it is looking very dull here. I wonder, are we going to get some rain? Hence why a few have gone for the mediums, or is this just me waffling again? Could well be.
Yeah, if people could go for like either or too soft, where meat comes hard, medium. Well, you might see some people just come in for tires there. Backy is in.
So Red Bull committing a driver into the pit lane. Let's see what he goes for. I imagine it's going to be the mediums. I can't see why it'd be anything else. He is serving that penalty actually, and it is going to be the mediums. You can see there in the mechanic's hand as they go slotted on to the wheel rims, and the Red Bull comes out. And Sanchez is actually in the pit lane, so he's obviously just done a mandatory tyre change. Oh no, he's taken a wing change and another set of softs. So Sanchez has made contact somewhere, and Keke is in the pit lane as well. He might have done the same. Both Williams actually double stacking again here in Austria.
You think it was Ferrari with the ways they should manage to mess up the drivers. But to be fair, Williams have to be the best organisation themselves. Last, let's say 2018, 2023, probably 6 or 7 years now at this point.
Well, Ferrari actually leading here, of course. Ralchio will be kicking himself, because he had built up a nice lead, didn't he?
Yeah.
He will not like the fact this safety car came out. Mubarak will, because it puts him right in touching distance of the race leader. And it is an Aston Martin 1-3. As the Aston Martin safety car leads us round here in Austria. We won't be in this lap. I imagine we will come into pits on lap 7.
Yeah, that would be about right. No, not everyone has reached the back of safety car in time, so another trip around it goes. However, it should be in at the end of the what will become the next lap. Will become the end of this lap.
So, if you're just joining us, it is Ralchio who leads. Mubarak in second. It's then Tyne, Marcus, Lewis, and Ryu. Damiano, LRB, Fede, Zane, Dirk, Harvey, Izza, Backy, Sanchez, Keke, Ghost Kings have, and Sipala. It's been an interesting start to this Austrian Grand Prix. We had a 3 wide moment up into the Slosh Gold. We had a 3 wide moment exiting the Slosh Gold. And then we had Sipala in the wall. So that's how that one ended up. Thankfully, all still in the race. All 19 still here and running. Some have fallen down the order due to different collisions, but Still have 19 drivers who could potentially be fighting for this race win.
Yep, no. But the beauty of how these ones are leagues where everyone's so close. If the right circumstances came along, you could see almost everyone here have a shot at winning.
Let us know down below who you think's going to win. I think I know what the answer might be. But still, let us know down below who you think. I think the NVU Army might win out on this one. But nevertheless, get nice and comfortable, ladies and gentlemen, and get your popcorn because we're about to go racing once again here in the Styrian Hills. And Ralkio will be doing the restart. This may go absolutely brilliantly, or this may go absolutely terribly. We don't really know. Has he gone already? I think he has. Safety car has come into the pit lane and has crossed that safety car line. So we go racing once again in Austria. Ralkio has got us going very, very early, and he's looking to extend his gap once again. It's worked out alright because he's pulled out about 0.6 of a second on Mubarak, and this will kind of space the field a little bit. We won't see many collisions from this. Here comes the German of Anriu looking to attack Lewis, heading in towards turn. Oh no! Huge kick of understeer right as he got on the curb. He's held it nicely, and Anriu keeps in 6th position, but he's under pressure from Damiano now, so he's looking to try and get the job done. Zane attacking Dirk now as Harvey looking to try and get back past Izza. Harvey seems to be real racy. Oh no! Oh, that's not racy. That's dirty, as he's bumped Izza straight into the wall. Izza stopped on the circuit. Izza needs to get out of this position quickly, or else that Mercedes will be disqualified, and that is the last thing Izza wants. But that is Izza in the wall here on the restart lap, and Mubarak now has found his mojo, and he's gaining on Ralkio here. I think Ralkio's restart was good, because he knew when he was going, he had tire temperature, whereas Mubarak didn't. But now Mubarak is kind of back up to pace, and Ralkio not finding this as easy to pull out of a DRS gap.
Yeah, so Ralkio, he's had an alright restart, however, you still wish it hadn't happened because instead of being away from, instead of being outside the DRS range of Mubarak, he's now stuck well within. However, Mubarak is being asked to use up a lot of resources to try keep up with Ralkio, so it may well work out okay for him as well. It may just be a case where when he's closer, he doesn't actually have that much to try passing with. However, they have both drop time.
The Ferrari still has the better exit speed. Here comes Fede looking to attack Dirk. Fede trying to go down the inside into the Schlossgoal. Has Dirk outbroke himself? Not by the looks of things. He's trying to hang it around the outside. He is on fresh mediums, of course. He was one who pitted under that safety car. He slots in ahead of the AlphaTauri, and he's up to 9th position. So this has worked out alright for Dirk. He can stay on a similar strategy then, and maybe go back to a set of the hard tyres come near the end of the race. Or maybe even a set of the mediums. I think the only one who used mediums in qualifying was Anriu, so he definitely has a second set available to him. Baki looking to try and attack. Baki, of course, on a clean slate here. He picked up a penalty for, we don't really know, but it seemed to be a fairly unfair one, but he served it nevertheless, and he's going to try to fight his way back as he's tucked up nicely behind the Alpine of Royal Harvey. Here he comes then. This is going to be an easy one for Baki. He is going to clear it past, and he is through up to 11th position in towards turn 3 of Rebus. And now his sights will be set on the AlphaTauri in front. Sanchez looking to attack as well. Sanchez on the set of the soft tyres. He's right up behind the Alpine here once again. And I think Royal Harvey's going to lose 2 in the 1 as Sanchez gets the job done into the Schlossgoal. That's a fairly simple one on a fresh set of softs. Or is it? Harvey looking to try and run it round the outside. He's just not got the exit. That's just tyres, I think, for you. Sanchez has got it done.
Yep, Sanchez got to have done 2 stops technically this race, so for a lot of people there has been actually, so yeah, a very interesting state of affairs here really. Some drivers not meant to stop, some making 1, and others, a few making 2. So the strategies here could get really, really interesting soon enough.
Yeah, they could. And another thing about pit stops here is, like, when you pit, you almost fall an entire sector behind the pack. It's not as if you fall just a few corners behind, because it's such a short lap time that your pit stop is pretty crucial. You got to push it into that pit lane. You got to save as much time as possible. And we may see drivers who have already pitted, come out in a fairly decent position here. Looking at Henry, he's attacking Lewis actually around the outside, heading for the slosh goal. Has the German got that one done? He has. He's been hungry for that spot for a couple of laps, and now he's got it pretty comfortably. As Lewis falls to 6th position. Damiano trying to attack as well. Damiano nowhere in qualifying. He's starting to pick up the pieces a little bit here in the race. He qualified 10th. He's currently 8th. He's gained 2 spots, and he's looking to gain a few more by the looks of things.
Yep, always welcome to just try and make a bit of progress here and there. Trying to see now, Mubarak 8/10 of a second. Interesting to see that. How does he manage this? Obviously, gets the DRS coming up the hill.
Oh, yellow flag. That's Marcus. Ball right down the back. He's being attacked by Hav in for 18th position. So Marcus has completely lost and Hav. Big dive down the inside in towards Remus. Is there going to be more contact between the two? Here we can see side by side. Look at Hav. He's just got the exit on, or apologies, Marcus has got the exit on Hav. Heading down in towards the Schloss goal further up the field. It looks like Dirk and Damiano are battling. It looks like Dirk's gone clean around the outside. Back down to Marcus and Hav. Still side by side. Hav still looking to attack this one. No joy there. And Marcus is going to hold at least one spot over someone else, but that spin has really cost him, and he's really made a poor error there.
Yeah, that error has just left him just one of them in a bad position as well, because other people have pitted. They may well be on a tyre to the end, well, to try to get to the end, or they may be on a tyre which allows them to go a little bit longer and then go for a real pace-based strategy rather than having to manage tyres.
Well done, lap 13 of 36. We still have quite a bit to go in this race. Almost at the halfway point though, and it's been pretty exciting so far. Still, that is going to continue. Because, pardon me, Baki has gone round the outside of Damiano. He made that one look simple. Damiano's not even really fallen, as he is on worse tyres. Baki utilising these mediums to perfection, as gap at the front still 4/10 per second, so Ralphio not able to get the jump like he did at the start of this Grand Prix.
He's not really got the jump he wanted, but that's probably because the mediums just don't have that initial grip now to just blow away Mubarak, who is now on warmed up parts, which are not going to be spicy for a start of the Grand Prix now, especially as they're on lap 14.
The optimum strategy, and I know this one sounds weird, it's lap 18, it's an overcut here in Austria. It was brought to the limelight by Mr. Thomas Ronhaar as Royal Harvey gets past Sanchez and Fede and Damiano fighting. Fede's had a huge wobble in the curve, Damiano's going to clear through. But it was brought to light by Thomas Ronhaar, who did it in PSGL F1, not this week or last week, a few months ago. And it seems to be a common one for these drivers to do, so we may well see somebody stay out until lap 18. They get some clean running in, not in DRS, not in dirty air. They just get clean laps on the board, about 3 or 4, and then into the pit lane. But we could start to see some people in from this lap. I imagine they're going to extend a little bit more because we did have some safety car running, remember. So we may see these stints extended a little bit, and we might even see one odd chancer go for a set of softs come the end of the race. How's Sanchez doing on his? They seem to still be okay. He is in a bit of a fight. Sepala's almost gone around. Sanchez definitely in a fight now. He's looking to try and get past Sepala, but no, Sepala just seems to have the straight line speed still. Sanchez definitely starting to struggle on those softs. He's going to have to start thinking about a pit stop sooner rather than later.
Yeah, pit stop may be the ideal next move. He has to be careful here because Marcus is probably not going to get past, so Marcus may well have to look behind himself because he is going to get past here for the AlphaTauri. And it's done. Yeah, Marcus. He's pretty much last.
There's battles all over the field. Zane and Royal Harvey, Ghost Kings and Fede. Looks like Harvey's just got the run on Zane, though. Zane was down the inside on the better line. Harvey's hung it round the outside quite nicely and keeps it up the inside here, heading in towards the turn 6. of launch and in towards turn 7 of the word curve, as that's Fede round. We saw he was real wobbly at a turn 3. It's not turn 3 that's caught him out, it's turn 8 actually. So that is an unfortunate incident there for Fede, as we see the Hasa Sanchez does think about a pit stop. And Anryu is into the pits as well. Anryu going to go for the mediums here to the end of the race. The German triggering the undercut. Let's just look up at the top. We could have a leader change here. Here comes Mubarak diving down the inside of Ralkio. He fancies leading this one. Ralkio forced to the outside line. Forced on the curb. Does he get the better exit? Those worn mediums still look the better tyre. But Mubarak has kicked in his ERS. And he is true. Heading in towards the Schloss Gold. Mubarak leads here at Austria for the first time since the race start, really. Ralkio got the job done up the hill on the opening lap, and now Mubarak leads here in Austria ahead of Ralkio, who has just picked up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. That is not going to help his case.
Yeah, penalties here. Just don't want them, as that's Ralkio into the pit lane. He has made sure to just keep away from the lines. Or has he? Because now he's in, and just want to make sure that when he checks back there, he hasn't crossed anything. Now onto the hard tyres now, you have to try and warm them up. But if you can get a little bit of an undercut in per se, you might not be in the worst position then.
Well, let's see where Anryu is in relation to Ralkio. He is going to be a little bit far behind, but it seems like Anryu has still gained a little bit of time. Is he going to get past LRB, who he was behind? He's well past LRB. So Anryu up to 13th now, just behind Ralkio. He's about 6 seconds behind Ralkio. But up the top of the order, it's Mubarak who leads ahead of Tyne now, who inherits second position due to that Ralkio pit stop. Lewis running in third. This will be the best result of the season, I think, for Lewis if he stays in third position. So that's a job well done from him if it stays like this. But of course, they still do have to make some pit stops. In terms of who has pit in this race, you can see Dirk, Baki, Ghost Kings, Keke, and everyone below has made a pit stop. Is that Hav with a bit of an issue? Not too sure. What about Baki and Dirk? Are they side by side here? No. That is Dirk into the pit lane. So Dirk comes in despite making his pit stop. He feels those tyres are not good, and if a safety car was to come out now, that would be unbelievable. But no, just seems like Sepala picked up a bit of dirt in his tyres. And a broken front wing, actually. So he has clipped the wall somewhere. He is in to get a wing change. Anryu, fastest lap of the race, 106.3. You can see Dirk coming out of the pit lane. He's going to lose a spot to his teammate and to LRB. So Anryu well clear up the road. Anryu gets past Hav as well. Anryu, of course, now is on the medium tyres. So the German still has a point to prove, as he's already clawed back in a second on Ralkio. This is impressive stuff from Anryu. He's running very good.
Yeah, so interesting now to see. Obviously, Ralkio, yeah, he has the penalty. It's not the greatest thing in the world to have. I think that may end up saving him is the fact that, well, time is probably not going to be that much of a factor, and he seems to be a bit of a no man's land there. As a couple of laps ago, he was about 2 seconds in front of him, then 2 seconds behind him to the car. So
Mubarak is in, and here comes Ralkio. Is this undercut going to be successful? Just remember, they are on different compounded tyres. There's the Aston Martin, you can see him there in the foreground. Heading out of the pit lane, Mubarak has gone out ahead, but Ralkio has the warm tyres, this slipstream, heading up the hill. Mubarak using his battery. Ralkio trying to press in here towards turn number 3. He will still have better tyres in the exit. Those tyres of Mubarak will not be up to temperature. He's still got a brilliant exit out of Remus. Can Ralkio attack potentially into the Schloss Gold? No, he's not going to be close enough. The overcut has worked well for Mubarak. He's covered off Ralkio. And, well, that's very interesting, because Mubarak now is on stronger tyres. Is Mubarak on course to become the second, or the first multiple race winner this season? He could well be, but I definitely think there's still another twist here in this Austrian Grand Prix awaiting us.
Yeah, it's been a fairly...
Yellow flags, that is that Zane round? Oh no, there was yellow flags there, but I'm not too sure what they were for. Zayn is attacking Ghost Kings, and Ralkio is attacking Mubarak. The two Ferraris attacking the Aston Martins. I say Ralkio is attacking Mubarak. That's a little bit of an overstatement. He's already out of a second Miss Race win, as well and truly slipped away from QRT Ralkio. It's in the hands of Mubarak, and Mubarak is flying on these mediums. I would even dare to say that Tyne might get Ralkio on track at this point, because Ralkio going for the mediums first, it's just not worked. He's ran the risk that we wouldn't get a safety car. We got one, and he shot himself in the foot here. But Tyne is trying to pressure him, and Anryu is trying to get into the DRS of Tyne. Of course, Ralkio and Anryu do both have 3-second time penalties, so Tyne could definitely still finish ahead of both of them.
Yeah, Tyne, I'm trying to see what can he do. Well, obviously he's within 3 seconds of Ralkio, so that would be the main thing for him. Harvey is going to be pushing Ralkio back towards, or maybe not, because it looks like Ralkio caught it up and passed nicely. Although Tyne would be hoping that maybe Harvey would fight him a little here. It seems like Ralkio's just got much more speed. So, Tyne's next aim is just try to get past Harvey here without getting tripped over.
Yeah, so it seems like Harvey is trying the gamble and staying out, as is Keke, Ghost Kings, Zayn. I think I'm correct in saying they've all made a pit stop. They all can't go to the end. No, Zayn hasn't, but the rest of them have. They can all technically go to the end, and they are hoping to just what am I saying? They're hoping for a safety car, is what I'm trying to say. Was distracted by other things, but I'm sure you know what I'm on about. But nevertheless, Zayn is now going to try to defend from Mubarak. This could get fairly interesting. Is Zayn going to try to do a job for his teammate? Here comes Mubarak. No chance. Mubarak is well through, and Zayn can't do anything about it.
Yeah, not much you can really do there. You just don't have the grip, or maybe that it's just not your kind of fight. And well, next thing for Mubarak is Keke. And if you think it based on the Practice Championship leader, this would be a straight on-track battle. However, Keke, I do believe. Oh, let me see. Does he have to? Well, no, technically he's made 2 stops, mind you, but I suppose these tyres on Keke are not going to be great.
Well, 0.3 of a second separate Keke and Mubarak. I think Mubarak is just going to soar past here, just like he did a lap ago. And Zayn, no, little bit of trouble for him. Didn't get past into 1. He'll certainly get past up the hill here through 2. And way before 2, he's well clear past. But Ralkio has gained a bit of time in Mubarak's struggles, I suppose you could say, to get past the lap or the slower traffic. If Ralkio can navigate it a little bit quicker, then he might be in a slightly better spot. But still, Mubarak well clear at the top. LRB attacking Lewis. Or should I say Lewis attacking LRB, because Lewis has got that one done. Anryu passes Royal Harvey. Anryu up to 6th position now. And Keke and Zayn are definitely going to start to be feeling a little bit of degradation on their hearts.
Yeah, them hearts they're not going to be the nicest of tyres right now. However, neither of them angling for the pit lane, so I feel like may as well stay out here and hope that a safety car comes and helps us.
Yeah, safety car, I think, is what this race needs to spice it up a little bit. As we're on lap 24 of 36, it's Mubarak who leads the Austrian Grand Prix ahead of Keke, Zayn, Ralkio, Tyne is your top 5. Then it's Anryu, Harvey, Lewis, LOB and Dirk who round out that top 10. They are your points scorers as of now. Keke is still keeping in the DRS of Mubarak, mind you, so obviously he's still comfortable enough on those hards. And Maybe he's just going to try to sit there for the rest of the race. Feels he can do the rest of the race as Zane pulls over and lets his teammate Ralchio through. Ralchio's main goal now is just confirming second and just keeping that second place. Although that time penalty might make this fairly difficult.
Yeah, that is going to be the big concern, especially since Tyne is coming close and doesn't really want to be in that position.
Zane's got to do everything he can to keep Tyne behind now, because Tyne can really pile on the pressure on Ralchio. He's going to have better tyres to the end of the race easily. So Zane's got to put in a bit of work here to keep Tyne behind, and so far it's worked out okay. He needs to find a way to defend in towards turn 3 of Remus, however. Here comes the Red Bull, tucked into the slipstream. What way is he going to go? He's going to have to go the outside. Is Zane still going to defend it? Yellow flag in Sector 1. That's an Alpine that's gone round. Or, yes, it is an Alpine that's gone round, and that is Tyne, who has gone past Zane with ease. Zane couldn't really do much. The Red Bull just had a lot of overspeed in towards turn number 3. Good news for Ralchio though is that Keke's lost his DRS in front, so Ralchio will have a clean shot at retaking second position here.
Yeah, so I'll be that if Ralchio can make the pass there and then hope Keke is a bit of a roadblock for Tyne, it might just help him out, but otherwise it's probably going to be a case of Tyne ends up picking up his second place finish in 4 races,
which is ultra impressive consistency and definitely keeps him in this championship fight. But Mubarak would take his second consecutive victory. Of course, he won last time out in France, almost won in Spain as Fede has gone for a spin and has left the session. But here comes Ralchio. He's going to fly past Keke. Is Keke going to defend it into the braking zone? No, he is not. What is Tyne going to do about this? Because Tyne, if he could get past Keke into the Schloss Gold, is right on the tail of Ralchio, and that's exactly what he wants with about 10 laps or so to go here in this Grand Prix. The ERS is flashing on the back of Keke. Here comes Tyne, last of the late breakers, into the Schloss Gold, and he's got the job done. Yellow flag in Sector 2. That is a Mercedes gone round. That's Isa, who is now a lap down, and has had about 3 spins in 3 laps, and that Mercedes has shattered its front wing and is now into the wall. Harvey and Fede, or Fede's AI, have gone for the soft compound tyres. Mubarak now has a 2-second lead here in PSGL and is looking comfortable for another race victory.
Yeah.
And Zane's in. Zane's come into the pit lane. His job is done to try and keep some cars away from Ralchio. Whether he's did a good enough job, we'll find out probably on this lap, because here comes Tyne.
Yeah, here comes Tyne.
Here he comes. It's Tyne time. Up in towards turn 3 of Remus. Late on the brakes goes the Red Bull. Ralchio's going to try the up and under, and he's been shoved off the circuit. Max Verstappen, eat your heart out, because Tyne's got the job done. Very similar to that infamous move in 2019. Ralchio didn't quite get forced off as much, but that is Tyne through here on lap 27, and he takes second place. Can he hunt down Mubarak? Well, realistically, no. Mubarak's been in a different planet this evening.
That's say Mubarak. Yeah, he could have realistically won each of the 4 races at this point. However, it's probably could have been bad luck and just incidents in 1 and 2. It didn't come to be. However, now he's really been able to show the potential he has here. And this could be the launch this season for a potential really good league racing career.
Up the hill, Ralchio not able to attack here on lap 28. We're getting towards the end of this Austrian Grand Prix. If you'd enjoy the action, make sure to check out our title sponsors, GT and Mega. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Make sure to pop a like on the stream, and make sure to, of course, check out all PSGL social media channels, as much as they might be controversial. Please make sure to check them out nevertheless. Lewis is still looking for a move on Anryu. Lewis and Anryu have been in a little bit of a dogfight this evening. They've kind of been running their own race, and this is a battle for 5th. If Lewis just sat behind, he'd get the job done, but he's running the risk of Anryu potentially backing him up into Dirk, and that's the last thing Lewis would want, because I'm still pretty sure this would be his best result of the season. I shall get a stats check on that. Lewis currently sits... Oh, Lewis is not even on the championship standings. Oh no, he is. He's currently 21st, and yeah, he hasn't scored points this season, so this would be his best result.
Yeah, points here would be very, very good for Lewis. Just get that season kick-started. And he could kickstart even more now by bouncing Anryu. I'm not sure this is satisfying a lot of people watching, but it's happened. Lewis has meant to pass, although Anryu may try to pass him back here.
May try to fight him back. Here comes Anryu, tucked into the slipstream. Does he have the DRS? He does have the DRS on Lewis. Not close enough into the Schloss Gold. Lewis is the better Pirelli tyres, and I think that's worked nicely in his favour here. He's just got the job done on Anryu, heading in towards turn 6 of Orange.
Yeah, very good job from Lewis there, up to 5th. And well, after wondering, would he be able to make a move towards Keke? Because, let me see with them tyres. 10 lap ball 11 lap ball mediums versus 28 lap ball hards. I think he must have a
chance.
Yeah.
And up the front as well, Tyne, we said he might be able to catch Mubarak. Well, he is. Whether he can catch enough in the remaining 6 laps of this Grand Prix, that's another question, but he's catching him. Of course, this would be very interesting for the championship, because Keke's still picking up a good result. The top 4 in this race are all championship contenders. It's not like it's a shuffled up order. The top 4 in this race, dare I say it, are the top 4 in the championship, and no, they're not, because of course Anryu is there, but they're... If Anryu finishes 5th, the top 5 in the championship finish in the top 5 in a various different orders, so that would still keep things close, because there's only 3 points separating the top 2 in the championship, which are the Williams of Keke and the Alfa Romeo of Anryu, and then it's the Red Bull of Tyne. It is then the Aston Martin of Mubarak and the Ferrari of Ralkio. Ralkio well has a gap on Keke now, and he well has this one sorted, I think, for at least a third. Things go wrong in front, maybe could be something better, but we have to wait and see. Real dogfight here in the mid-pack. Ghost Kings gets past Marcus. And what about here to the Schloss goal? Is Anryu able to make a move on Lewis? No, he's 5/10 of a second back actually. Dirk is closer to Anryu than Anryu is to Lewis, so maybe an inter-team battle at Alfa Romeo Sauber may rise to the surface. But Ghost King's back up into the points past Marcus. I think he's going to stay there as well, because of course Marcus does have that 3-second time penalty.
Yep, that's the problem for Marcus, because you're basically trying to fight a boxing match with one hand tied behind your back. It's just not really the best idea.
And that gap up the front is almost under a second. That's the DRS gap that Tyne is trying to get in. Mubarak's got to play this carefully. As that's Anryu round, heading through turn number 1. There's another spin in the backpack, but quite crucially, Anryu has gone round through turn number 1. He was in 6th. He's now down to 12th. Very disappointing for Anryu, who was going to lose big points because of that one. Crucial points in the championship fight, and he will fall big places in the championship.
Yeah, that's just not the mistake you really want to be making. Well, let me see. As Anryu was 2nd in the championship, this will probably hurt his case a little. Just probably no points today, so one of the likes of Mubarak may well be taking maximum, and then the likes of Tyne will be taking yet another P2, like just building up towards consistency. Well, Robert likes someone in their F14 championship winning season, but yeah.
But we're almost out of a safety car window. And Tyne is back in DRS. Lewis has got past Keke. We said he had a shot of it. He's got that job done. Lewis is through for 4th. Can he hunt down Ralchio? No. There's an 8.3 second gap. No, he won't be able to. But Tyne is looking to try and get past Mubarak. The Dutchman has been exceptional here in this final stint. He was nowhere really in the first one. It was all Ralchio and Mubarak. But here in the final couple of laps, he's been good. He's been very good. Is Mubarak just saving up things? He's a lot more ERS than Tyne. He's not pushing as much. But ERS won't really matter if Tyne can find a way past and defend the Aston Martin. Lap 34 out of 36. We have 3 laps remaining here in the Austrian Grand Prix. The gap is 0.5 of a second. Let's see how Tyne plays this one. This could still be close.
Yeah, Tyne is really got the option there.
He is definitely going to have a go. It's just when does he? Because he's definitely going to try a late breaker. Mubarak very good out of turn 3. All race continues to be very good out of turn 3. And he's quite impressive.
Keke's just been passed by 2 people.
Keke. I think Keke's struggling on his tyres. Is there a puncture? No, it doesn't seem to be, but he's certainly running very slowly. He's in puncture territory, alright. That front right doesn't look great, and I think a rear tyre doesn't look great either. The rear left looks like it is deflating, and there's a lot of flat spots on it, you can see. Keke could be in trouble here. He needs to coast it home for 3 laps. The threshold on tyres is about 32 laps. He's reached that. They're going to be screaming at him, but if he can just bring it home in 7th, that would be a very good result nevertheless. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see that tyre blow on the Williams. He just needs to be super smooth and uber cool with his steering. Penultimate lap of the Austrian Grand Prix, then Tyne still not attacking Mubarak fully. But of course, I imagine he'll wait till the last lap. He's just saving up his battery. Mubarak's used a little bit. Yellow flag in sector number 1. Is that tyre gone for Keke? No, it's the other Williams. It's Sipala who's gone, and that's Andrea who retires in the pit lane. So that was Sipala who went round, not Keke. I saw the Williams going slow and I thought, alright, that's definitely it. But no, Keke still holding on. So is Mubarak at the front of this. Tyne, he could still win this one. There's a real chance Tyne can still win this one. Andrea won't pick up any points. Neither will Izza. And I can't imagine Harvey, Fede and Sipala will pick up any, but the rest all still really in with a shout, kind of. Maybe Hav, who's 9.9 off the back of Sancho is. Last lap of the Austrian Grand Prix. Sipala retires from the Grand Prix on the last lap. We saw he had that spin heading through turn number 1. Tyne's real chance is into turn number 4, as he's almost lost it. He definitely won't have a chance now. That might be it just gone for Tyne. That might just be it gone. He really had a shot of that one as well. He was very close. Mubarak is going to clear this one. Mubarak is going to be home and dry. Tyne pushed it way too quickly on the curb. Got on the throttle way too fast. And that is his chance gone. This will be Mubarak, who comes home to win it for the 2nd race in a row. The Red Bull not going to be able to do it on home turf for Red Bull Racing. Heading in towards turn number 6 of Roche, and heading in towards turn number 7 of the Worth Curve. Mubarak going to lead it home for a 2nd consecutive race win. Heading in towards Rind Corner for the final time, and then the Red Bull Mobile Curve. The Aston Martin is going to become the first double winner here in PSGL F3 this season. Mubarak comes across the line and dominates the Austrian Grand Prix. Tyne comes home in 2nd, Ralchio in 3rd, Dirk going to come home in 4th. Lewis, I think, has gone for a spin round on the last lap, and he almost will slip out of the points. Keke is going to come home with 34 lap all tyres to finish in the points. LOB will finish 4th, Dirk in 5th, Keke 6th, Ghost Kings in 7th, Damiano 8th. Marcus will slip all the way to 12th as Sancho smashes his front wing in the final corner. Lewis will take 9th, Backy 10th, Zane in 11th, Marcus in 12th, Sancho in 13th, followed by Hav in 14th, and then Royal Harvey will bring it home 15th, but Mubarak will take his 2nd consecutive win here in PSGL F3.
A 2nd consecutive win, and I believe that would be enough for championship lead for Mubarak, if I'm not mistaken, given Well, KK did finish 6th, mind you, so that is some form of points. However, let me see here. Mubarak was to pick up 17 points, which come about 41, and KK on probably picking up about 5 points, I think. So, yeah, so about 5 points. I think it would be Mubarak leading the championship now, just about over KK.
Well, here is Mubarak coming out on the podium for the second consecutive race. I think it's actually the third consecutive race, but he did get a penalty after Singapore, so he didn't quite get the win. But here he is then, nevertheless. A great result for Mubarak to take the championship lead. Great result for Aston Martin as well, to pick up those crucial 16 points. I'm not really too sure who got the fastest lap. I think it could have been Andrew, but of course he's not going to get a point for it because
Mubarak, I believe.
Oh no, it was Mubarak, so he takes 17. Mubarak then takes the race win in Austria, followed by Tyne, Ralkio, LOB, Dirk, KK, Ghost Kings, Damiano, Lewis, and Baki round out the points paying positions. Then it is Zane, Marcus, Sanchez, Half, Harvey, and Fede. And all finishers in the end were Anryu, Sapala, and Izza. We did only lose 3. But that is it for the Austrian Grand Prix. Ladies and gentlemen, you can see on your screen now we do head to Azerbaijan next week for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix around the Baku City Street Circuit. Should be a very good one. Unfortunately, we're not going to do any interviews this evening, but still, we do hope you enjoyed this evening's stream. Stay safe, stay well, and we shall see you next time.
This broadcast was brought to you by GT Omega, proudly supporting PSGL.